Hey everybody, how you doing? This is about to be a really fun video. I am super excited about this one because I have brought out to the range today one of my absolute favorites. This is my Sako S20 in 7mm Remington Magnum. If you're new to the show, make sure you're subscribed, but I'm working on filming a video series where I take a bunch of different rigs, I stretch them out, I record the scope dial, the drop in inches, the energy at distance, and I document a whole bunch of stuff. So I have the information and you have the information, and yeah, it's a whole lot of fun. What I do, we start out, make sure that the thing's zeroed at 100 yards. Then I do the chronograph speeds, and I do a drop chart and an energy chart, and we just start stretching the thing out and record it on video, and then we have all the information. Next time I go hunting, I can grab this out, get my rangefinder, say, oh, that deer's at 350 yards, and I already know what the dial is. And I have all this stuff documented, and you can use all my data if you got something with a similar muzzle velocity, and it's a whole lot of fun. But today we're talking about 7mm Remington Magnum. This thing is one of my absolute favorites. This is one of the ones that stays way in the back of the safe, that groups so incredibly well, at least last time I had it out, as on those never get rid of lists. With this ammo that we're fixing to use, this is a Remington Core Lock tipped 150 grain, yeah, 150 grain 7mm mag. It's just one of those perfect pairings that this Sako absolutely loves this stuff. We're fixing to test it out. I haven't had this thing out in over a year. But let's see, make sure we're dead on at 100. We'll probably have to tweak it just a tad, and then we'll start stretching it out. Should be a whole lot of fun. If your favorite cartridge isn't 7mm Remington Magnum, make sure you check the channel. I've already gone through this with a bunch of different cartridges, and I'm working through where we got this data documented for all of them. And I'm going to have a bunch of fun camera angles and all that stuff. And if you're new to long range stuff or even hunting, ask any question. DM me everywhere, Facebook, Instagram, on the tweeters. I answer every single message every single day. But yeah, let's get the cameras on at 100 yards and see how this thing groups for us at 100 yards. Make sure it's just dialed in perfect. All right, here we go, 100 yards. And I'm gonna try to remember to record my chronograph speeds here. All the zoomies here. I've got a really nice Zero Tech trace on top with 27 zoomies. If you watch the show, code WHOTEEWHO will get you 20% off Zero Tech optics. And this is their trace, which is like their top of the line model. But here we go. I'm gonna do my best here. Y'all remind me I'm supposed to be documenting the speeds here. I've been messing with some heavy triggers this week, so this trigger is definitely gonna surprise me. Yep, it surprised me. Not confident in that squeeze. I jerked big time, but not terrible. We got a speed of 3011 on that one. What did the box say, just for sake of looking at it? 3130. I don't recall what barrel length this is, but I'll pop it up in the screen right here when I edit it, so we'll all know the information. Probably 24 or 26, but I'll pop it up here. Now that was a good trigger squeeze, and they're about touching there. That one said 2983. I kind of put myself out there saying that this thing grouped really good for me before. I've got to really work hard to do it again today. So far it's working though. This trigger's heavier than I remembered though. I turned it down pretty far. Yeah, so you can see what I'm talking about. And that said 3017. Our up and down is perfect, but we're right about an inch. So this is a mil scope. So that's gonna mean probably we need about 3 clicks to the left. Which way's which here? I always forget. Right is that way, so click it this way. I think I just did that right. Let's send one in a clean target, just to verify that I turned the scope the right way, you know. Sometimes I do it backwards. A lot of times, actually. I'm going to give it one more click left, and then we're not going to touch it. So, my turret on top, I already had it zeroed, and we're perfect up and down. The speed on that was 29.94. I'm going to write that down. So now that we verified I'm dead on at 100 yards, let me do some numbers real quick. We'll talk about energy at different distances, and then we're going to start dialing it out, stretching it out, and having some fun here at the range. Be right back. All right, so let me bring you in and show you my numbers I'm working with here. So those are all my muzzle velocities I got from my chronograph. Averaged out to 3,001 feet per second. The G1BC of this stuff in 7 mag, the 150 grain, is a .530 on the G1 scale. And my height over bore, that's the scope over the barrel, the center line of the scope measured to the center line of the barrel, is 1.6 inches. So I put that all in my calculator here, and I'll pop up on the screen. Let me take a screenshot right here before I forget to. I'll pop up on the screen right here and show you what I'm looking at. I just ran these drop numbers and energy numbers out to 1,000 yards. So a lot of people want to use a benchmark of 1,000 for hunting cartridges. Well, this setup hits that benchmark just after 850 yards. So 7 mag, it's a powerhouse. If you've ever asked me, hey, I'm hunting out west and I'm kind of new getting into hunting, what cartridge should I get? I've probably suggested a 7 mag to you. You can find the ammo, and it's got some boogie sauce. But sighted in at 100 yards, you can see at the top I put in all those numbers, and then boop, it spits out the drop information. So next we're going to 200. This only drops 2.75 inches at 200 yards. If you had an MOA scope, the dial is 1.31, so you dial 1.25 for MOA, because it only has quarter adjustments. I have a mil scope, and our dial for mils is 0.38, so I'm going to come up to 0.4. I'll show you what I'm doing here. So since it said 0.38, I'm going to come up to 0.4 mils, because that's our closest one. Get here where you can see exactly I'm on the lines. 2, 3, 4. So now we're at 0.4 mils, and we're ready for 200 yards. Let me get the cameras on my 200 yard steel, and we're going to get to slinging them. We verify that, we're going to keep stretching it out. All right, now here we go. Here's where we're getting into the fun part here. 200 yards, I'm going to hold dead center. We're dialed up for 0.4 mils. Let's send one. I'm going to hold dead center and do my best here. And we hit dead center. That thing's got some sauce on it. And for purposes of hunting, I said it drops, what, 2.7 inches or something at 200 yards. You're hunting at 200 yards, you're not going to sit here and dial probably for 200 yards, but you could just hold 2-3 inches above where you want that impact to be, still on the animal. But the further you get out, the more precise dialing is than just guessing at how many inches high it is. Send another one at 200. Oh yeah, we're in there. So I'm just going to send those 2 to verify them at 200, because we're going to stretch it out and have some more fun. But that dial is verified for 200 yards, 0.4 mils. Now, what's our dial going to be for 300 yards? We're going to go to 300 next. So at 300, it drops 10.37 inches. Or if you have an MOA scope, 3.30, so you dial 3.25. Mils, which is what I have, is 0.96 for 300 yards. So I'm going to go ahead and dial just like I did earlier for 0.4 for 200. I'm going to dial 1 mil exactly, because it says 0.96. We're going to round up to 1 mil, and let's take it to 300 yards. This is going to be fun. I'm going to go put the scope camera on and have us some better camera angles. I'm gonna run 4 cameras at once. It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna show you my full setup here because this is the type of stuff that people always ask me in the comments. These rings, I don't think they make them anymore. I found these a long time ago on Amazon. Arius, super heavy duty, and at the time they were super cheap, like 30, 40 bucks. But they don't sell them anymore. I wish I'd have bought like 50 of them because those were incredible heavy duty rings. And yeah, especially for the money. I told you that's a Zero Tech Trace, super nice scope. The Socko's got a threaded barrel. I want to say it's a 26, but it could be a 24, but I'll have already looked that up when I edit it. And that's my Banish 30 can. I got that from Silencer Central. That was my very first 30 cal can, I believe. And so far, to get it sighted in, I put it in this Lead Sled DFT3. I'm gonna switch it up at 300 and further when we go a little bit further range. All right, so I got bad news. My scope camera won't fit this scope. It's just like a millimeter off where it won't fit this scope. So we're not gonna have the scope view, which is a bummer because I really like this reticle. But 300 yards dialed for 1 mil. Let's send it. I didn't grab one, I don't think. Nope. Did that grab one? Yeah, it did. Anyways, 300 yards with 7mm mag. Should still be a cakewalk if I do my part. Level, steady rest, clean brake. I've got my Caldwell BR, what is it? Rock BR rest here. Easy on my trigger. Here we go, 300 yards, 7 mag, 150 grain core lock tip, 1 mil. Boom. First round hit's always a good thing. Makes you feel like you know what you're doing. I got 2 more in the mag. Let's send 2 more. Yeah, so this is one of the ones that I'm super confident in. I did a video the other day on my 264 Winchester Magnum and said I love that thing, I'm confident. This one's up there too. This Socko S20 and 7 mag. Super confident when I break that trigger it's going to hit what I want it to hit. But I've started putting a camera down range so we can get that steel hit and you can hear the delay when I edit the video all together. It's pretty cool. Next, let's go to 400 yards. 300 was too easy. What's our dial going to be for 400? It was 1 mil for 300. Now at 400 yards, it's dropping 23.49 inches, so almost 2 feet. If you have an MOA scope, it's 5.6 MOA, so you could dial 5.5. For mils, it's 1.63. So I'm gonna come up to 1.6 mils. There's 1.5, 1.6 mils, lock the turret. Let's go get the cameras on at 400. This is fun. I'm gonna put a 1/3 size deer target at 400, make it a little bit more challenging. If we can hit the 1/3 size deer, we can hit a full size deer. That one we just hit at 300 yards, that's also a 1/3 size deer. Pretty fun. All right, now 400 yards. We're dialed up for 1.6 mils. And let me double check that, if that's a shade high or a shade low. And our actual calculated drop is 1.63. So we're dialed just a shade low. But we'll see what happens. I've got my downrange target on from up here, and then I've also got a camera down there so we can hear that ping. Should be pretty cool. Do my best to focus on my squeeze here. Pretty calm, basically no wind. All 27 zoomies. When I'm doing this, I'm practicing like I'm pretending like we're deer hunting and me and you are just hanging out somewhere. Catching deers. And the closest we could get was 400 yards away. And the state record is standing there looking at us. Let's see if we can get him. Got him. we would have got that deer in the lungs. Remember, that's a 1/3 size deer. 400 yards, let's do it again. Yeah, that's like a 1-2 inch group so far at 400 yards. That's what I was saying, man. This Socko with this ammo, forget about it. I could hold further left to kind of put that in the shoulder area, but I'm trying for a group here, so. Boom. 400 yard group. That's probably a 3-inch group at 400 yards, which based off of our 100 yard groups, we would hope that we could do that, right? Now I'm gonna send one more just to see if I can call my hits or not, away from that group, because I want to measure that group down there. I'm gonna try to hit them. I was holding right there. I'm gonna try to go hit them right where it counts. So let me measure this with my reticle. Okay, just below and just right of that. Boom! Hey, domed them. Obviously I wouldn't condone that for hunting, but for purposes of precision and proving that this thing's on, man, we just domed them at 400 yards on the steel. Put this back down to 0, but I'll show you that target. We'll go down there and look at all of our targets, but that's a 1/3 size Caldwell steel. All the steel on my range is Caldwell AR500. Let's go look at all the targets real quick. I'm excited about this one. All right, so there's my steel at 200 yards. Just to verify at 200 that we're still on with our dial before we stretched it out. Dead center. Let's look at 300. Then, again, this is a 1/3 size deer. I can get my whole hand top to bottom. Hit one there, and I believe it looks like I hit the post and then it splashed off and hit right there. So at 300, our group there is like a 2.5 inch group or so. Bong! I like those lights. Let's look at 400. And then here's my target at 400 yards. And this group is actually better than my group at 300. So that is a 2-inch group. Matter of fact, that's so good. I'm gonna run and get my calipers, which is gonna take me a while because it's nowhere near here. But also, I wanted to just verify that I could call my hits. Yeah, I was trying to hit him square in the middle, but I still hit him right there. Probably would have knocked his antlers off right there. But man, not too shabby at 400 yards. Let me go grab the calipers because I really want to measure that group at 400. All right, here we go. And I'm glad I did grab the calipers because that's an even better group than I thought. So if I can hold still with one hand here, center to center of those hits is 1.97, under 2 inches at 400 yards. So that just proves my point there that Socko loves that Remington core lock tip. That's better than half MOA at 400 yards. I should have been able to get him square in the middle, but hey, I'll take it. I still hit it. But hey, thanks for coming along with this 7mm Remington Magnum Will It Hunt episode. Man, I told you this is one of my favorites. Stretching it out to these hunting distances. And I have yet to take a big game animal with this cartridge. So comment down below if you want me to do that this year. But this is my Socko S20 in 7 mag. Got my Banish 30 can on there. Remington core lock tipped, factory 150 grainers. And we're getting better than half MOA at 400 yards. Man, I love it. But hey, Make sure you're subscribed. If you haven't already, go over to WHOTEEWHO.com and sign up for my free newsletter. We're going to be doing more giveaways and stuff over there real soon. Comment down below what cartridge you want to see me do next. Like I said, we may have already done it, but there's a bunch more coming soon. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you on the next one. WHOTEEWHO!
Load it up and get it on as soon as you can. 30 on 16.